In this video, we're going to discuss the exciter windings and how they generate current. As you notice, we have the rotor here in the middle. It's selected, and I can rotate this rotor. So right now, there's no lines of flux cuttings pins 11, 12, 13, 14, or 23, 24, 1, and 2. Those are exciter windings. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rotate this to the next position. Now at this point we have current coming out of winding 20 of slot 23. So if you look up here, current coming out is going up. At the same time we have current going in slot 11. So it's still going up. The way to determine this is by using these rules here. The lines of flux rules and the right hand rule for generator rules determines these arrowheads. So at this point, we have current flow here. We have current flow over here. And that's from current coming out of 23, which goes up. Current going into slot 11. Okay, so I'll go ahead and rotate the thing one more step. Now we added more current. It's coming out of slot 24. Right here, it's coming out of slot 24. It's also going into slot 12, which is still going up. So what's happening here is these currents are passing through all four of these coils all the time. It's just we have a weak current, and as we cut more slots, the current gets stronger. But it's still going through all four coils, whether they're being induced or not. Doesn't matter. So now we go ahead and select the rotor again, step another position. Now we have current coming out of slot 1. Slot 1's right here. So we got more current being added to this coil, which is all four coils in series. And we have current going into slot 13, so it's still going up into slot 13. I hate when that happens. It gets on the wrong thing. So I just saying, it was in on 13. Comes out on 1. There's one here too. It's out on 1. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 arrows of current going through those coils. And we rotate it one more position. Now we have current coming out of slot 2, which is down here, which is still going up. I lost an arrow someplace, so I'll duplicate that arrow. And we also have current going into slot 14, which is right here going up. So at this point in time, we've induced maximum current into this exciter circuit of 4 coils in series. And it'll stay at maximum current for several slot rotations. Let's go ahead and rotate it again. Notice it's still cutting all 4 coils, still cutting all 4 coils, still cutting all 4 coils. So now at this point, we just dropped coil 20, slot 23, and slot 11 just lost their currents. So 23 was up here at the top. We lost that current. We lost the current going into slot 11. Let's see. Yeah. So we lost that current. Okay, so we rotate it one more slot. Gotta select it, rotate it. Now we just dropped 24 and 12. So we dropped the 12 and the 24. So these two guys. So now we're down to 4 arrows of current. So we go ahead and select the rotor again. Rotate it one more position. We just lost slots 1 and 13. So 1's here. 13's here, so we lost these two guys. Now we're down to 2 arrows of current. And then as the rotor rotates one more time, and we've lost slots 2 and 14. 14's up there, 2's down here, so we lose these two. I'm just selecting the wrong thing. This program's really aggravating. You have a box around it, and if you miss anything, it takes the box as what you're trying to select. It's a real nuisance, but that's just life. So I'm trying to select this guy and take him out of here. And lost this current. So now we're back to 0 current in the exciter windings. So that's a complete current cycle for a half rotation. Because you notice this guy started down here. Now he's up to here. So it repeats itself in reverse polarity on the next half rotation. So that gives you the 2 alternations, which makes the basically the 60 hertz at 3600 RPM. I want you to remember, as this rotator is rotating and causing these steps of current, the actual current is not a step because the windings have inductance, and inductance delays the current, and then inductance integrates the current. So it converts this step voltage into a somewhat sinusoidal waveform. Of course, this one is flat on top. Notice right here, it's got this maximum current all this time. Now it's gone. Now it's maximum current till there. So it's a sinusoidal with a very flat top due to the inductance of the windings. So it's not a digital step based on just slots alone. So I just want to make sure that was clear in this discussion, because it'll be the same way in the next discussion of the power windings. They're not stepped currents. They're integrated currents, which are smooth transitions. I also want you to remember the purpose of these exciter windings. They produce current which through the flux saturates the flux in the rotor. And that's their whole purpose, saturate the rotor flux. And it can alternate like it does here because the rotor has 2 diodes on it. And the diodes in the rotor always keep the flux, always keep the current flow in the rotor winding same direction, therefore the flux in the rotor is always the same direction. So it's pretty ingenious how this works. So that concludes this video.